Our News is brought to you by Alive.
Believe in best.
Tonight on Our News, Bella Walker's father gets the go-ahead to plan her funeral. Fire officials battling another blaze at the International Bazaar. A $250 million expansion of the Cotton Bay project to create hundreds of jobs. Welcome to Our News and thanks for joining us. I'm Christina Dragovich. Topping news tonight, following a week-long court battle, the Supreme Court has ruled that the father of 4-year-old Bella Walker can organize her funeral arrangements. Kyle Joaquin reports.
Baby Bella is on her way back home. She was loved in Grand Bahama.
In his 17-page ruling, Supreme Court Justice Lauren Klein said the court did not delight in the task as it was deeply emotional. He said the best outcome would have been a compromise between the two families, but unfortunately, Bella's maternal and paternal families could not see eye to eye on who gets to handle her funeral arrangements. The child's body is currently at Serenity Funeral Home upon the wishes of her father, Dino Smith. However, her maternal grandmother, Mona Lisa Walker, on behalf of the child's mother, had been seeking to have her remains removed, allowing them to make funeral arrangements. Due to the sensitivity of the matter, last week's proceedings were heard in private. But in his ruling Monday afternoon, the judge said he looked at the fact that the child lived with her father's family on Grand Bahama since she was 2 weeks old. He called it a cruel twist of fate that she was sent to live with her mother, only to die 2 months later. Police say the 4-year-old died from blunt force trauma, causing ruptured internal organs and bleeding. The mother's boyfriend has been charged with her murder. Despite Bella holding her mother's surname and her father's name not being on her birth certificate, Klein said her paternity was never disputed, as it seemed as though her mother was comfortable with her living with her father's family on Grand Bahama while she worked on Abaco and New Providence. Bella's grandmother and father were present via Zoom. Smith's attorneys called it a win for justice.
The research was long and hard, but baby Bella got her victory today. She is going back home to her father, where she belongs.
Justice Klein explained that Bella's maternal family was seeking to have a private burial in Nassau that would allow both sides of the family to be present. He said they wanted the child to be buried in Nassau where her 11-year-old brother is. But he said the little girl barely spent any time in Nassau, and from what he understands, she probably had no relationship with her brother. The judge said the paternal family expressed that they would like her to be buried in the church she attended, near family and friends on Grand Bahama. While the judge says the court won't rule on the specifics of the burial, it should be done with respect and decency.
The judge in particular looked at the fact that for most of her life, for almost her 4 years, the father's side of the family was caring for her and her well-being in Freeport, Grand Bahama. So that's the closest nexus to where she should be interred.
And now that the court battle is finally over, it's on to finally lay baby Bella to rest. And according to the court, that will be in Grand Bahama. For Our News, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
Thanks, Kyle. In other news, fire services on Grand Bahama battling yet another blaze at the International Bazaar. It's the second massive fire at the tourist attraction in 2 weeks. Thick plumes of black smoke could be seen from miles away as part of the building collapsed. Inspector Ellie Ariskar says police got the call around 4 p.m.
On arrival, fire personnel would have met one of the single-story structure, fully engulfed in flames. They would immediately started an attack of the fire. And again, as a result of the close proximity of the various businesses and the way the structure is laid, we called for additional resources from our mutual partners, be it the Grand Bahama Shipyard, as well as Barco, to assist in trying to contain this fire at this time.
Ariskar says the fire is contained. Investigations continue to determine what caused the blaze.
It's still early in the investigation, but we do know that we had some persons throughout the course of the week who was lighting copper, persons indiscriminately lighting to keep warm during the cold period that we would have had. As a result, this wouldn't have been the first instance that the fire department would have been called here at the bazaar. It may be on a smaller scale, but at this time now we would have gotten a call and saw that it was a larger fire than previously stated before.
Eleuthera's Cotton Bay development is set to get a $250 million expansion and a luxury resort that will take 4 years to complete. Cotton Bay officials signing the amended heads of agreement this morning. Jasmine Brown reports.
Both Davis and Cooper are calling the expansion of the Cotton Bay development a big deal for Eleuthera, as it will cost hundreds of millions of dollars to complete and bring hundreds of jobs to that island. Prime Minister Davis called the amended heads of agreement signing an historic one, as he noted the project was started under the former Christie administration. He insisted the expansion of the development will revitalize Eleuthera's economy by creating hundreds of jobs.
This is a reigniting of the past, and we hope that will turn into a configuration that will light up the whole of South Eleuthera and bring and bear the fruits that we think it could bear. So we welcome you. I know that this has been an arduous journey for yourselves, and it has been a work. And I'm happy to see that you are where you are today.
In May 2015, then Prime Minister Perry Christie announced that his administration had signed a heads of agreement for Phase 1 of the Cotton Bay development. The original heads of agreement included the $100 million Phase 1 development of a 5-star, 115-room resort hotel and private residential subdivision with 40 lots, a renovated 18-hole Robert Trent Jones-designed golf course, spa and recreational facilities, several restaurants and bars, a commercial shopping center, and employee housing situated on 320 acres. 6 years later, developers say they will add even more to the project with a $250 million expansion that will take 48 months to complete. Cotton Bay Holdings Limited manager Daniel Zaletta Martinez.
We've been in the landscape of the Bahamas for over 25 years, working alongside with the people of the island. And now the project will enhance that.
Included in the expansion will be a 90-room Ritz-Carlton Reserve and Beach Villas property. Zuleta says it will create 500 jobs, the majority of which will be for Bahamians. The Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism and Investments, Chester Cooper, says the signing is further proof that the Bahamas remains an attractive destination for investors.
We have seen a significant level of interest in investments in the Bahamas since coming to office, and therefore this is an important occasion for us to demonstrate our commitment to the tourism product, first of all, and to the investment sector generally.
Reporting for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown.
As the world watches the Omicron coronavirus variant, Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Michael Darville admits health officials are having trouble meeting the demand for nurses amid a serious shortage. Bethany McDermott reports.
As the country continues to battle a severe nursing shortage, Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Michael Darville admitting today that finding nurses to staff the country's healthcare facilities is proving to be a challenge. This, as he says, they're looking to fill 30 spots.
We have been in discussions with the Nursing Council. We have had discussions with the unions as it relates to try to fill in the gaps. From my initial assessment, we have been informed that there is a deficiency of some 30 specialty nurses, and we need to move swiftly to see exactly if we can find them.
Darville stressed that the time to fill these positions is now, while the Bahamas is seeing low COVID numbers. However, as government looks to recruit these nurses, Bahamian nurses are being recruited by other countries, making an already difficult situation worse.
There are people in our country recruiting our nurses for the developed world, and this is what we have to compete with, and so we must find ways to ensure that we try to keep our nurses at home once they finish the program by offering better packages and other incentives.
The Bahamas has long faced a nursing deficit, even before COVID-19 brought the world to its knees. The issue became a vital one during the pandemic as hospitals quickly became overwhelmed, stretching the staff complement. At multiple points during the second and third waves, beds were available but could not be used because of the shortage of nurses. Several nurses in the Bahamas have died of COVID-19, while others have left the country for opportunities elsewhere.
The last wave was a difficult wave, and we have stretched our healthcare manpower resources to the limit, and we are so pleased that we have a slight break where some of them could actually recuperate and get some rest. But with that being said, we cannot underestimate the possibility of something similar happening to us.
Now, with a drastic decrease in COVID-19 cases and hospitalization, the Health and Wellness Minister says this has given them the opportunity to focus on other specialty areas. Reporting for Our News, I'm Bethany McDermott.
Princess Margaret Hospital recommissioning 2 new wards today, adding 33 beds to the facility. Health Minister Dr. Michael Darville says the new wards, Male Surgical 1 and Medical Surgical East, cost $900,000 total and have negative pressure rooms for the treatment of COVID-19 patients.
Princess Margaret Hospital has been short of beds for some time, and adding 19 beds on the med surgery ward and additional 14 on the male surgical ward is very important at this time. We expect on the male surgical ward for patients to be moved probably as late as tomorrow. And so we were just waiting for the official opening for the GG's visit and for the blessings of the wards, and they will be put into service immediately.
Nothing says Christmas in the Caribbean like 80-degree weather. Greg Thompson joins us now with the latest.
Thanks, Christina. Welcome everybody for your first look at weather on this Monday evening. Brought to you by Ports International, trusted medical supplies for a better quality of life. Warm conditions outside our studios. After a warm day, temperatures into the 80s. We're now into the mid-70s, 76 outside with partly cloudy skies. Your winds out of the east-southeast at 4 knots and your field slight temperature at 84 degrees. Satellite view, very nice conditions across here. We have some patchy clouds moving mostly from west to east. Those are high-level clouds, a couple isolated showers near the northern Bahamas, but all in all, that high-pressure ridge remains in charge. Will continue to dominate our weather tonight through tomorrow. That's your first look at weather. Your extended forecast is still to come.
Still to come, senators debate the VAT amendment bill and the Decent Work Country program launches. Find out more after this.
Get that glorious internet connection back in business within seconds with the new self-help modem reset. Just follow these very easy steps. Step 1, call 601-2200 or 242-300-2200. Number 2, select option 3. Step 3, select option 2. Step 4, enter your 8-digit account number. Step 5, follow the prompts. It's really that simple. Rev, you and us together.
Senators debating the VAT amendment bill today. Leading it off was Minister of Economic Affairs Michael Halkitis, who defended the government's decision to add VAT to breadbasket items. Vonique Toot reports.
Our philosophy is one rate at a lower rate with minimal exemption.
Minister of Economic Affairs Michael Halkitis doubling down on the Davis administration's decision to add value-added tax to breadbasket and other items when it reduces the VAT rate from 12% to 10% in the new year.
But when you try to bring relief by exempting certain things, and then you have to raise the rate on other things, inevitably people are paying more for those things, and even though they might get a saving on the items that you make VAT-free, inevitably by raising the rate, they pay more on everything else.
Those items include baby food, fresh, condensed, and evaporated milk, cooking oil, corned beef, rice flour, and grits. Halkitis insisted government will provide direct relief to impacted residents and argued that when you put an exemption on items like rice, it doesn't just benefit the vulnerable, but restaurants and high-income households that consume those items.
We think, again, that we are on the right track, Mr. Speaker. And according to studies conducted by the University of the Bahamas and the Ministry of Finance, a reduction of VAT from 12% to 10% alongside a permanent elimination of zero-rated categories will allow the government to provide immediate tax relief, induce minimal contraction in GDP, and likely improve tax revenue collection.
The PLP senator insisted the former government removed VAT from breadbasket and other items in 2018, only to increase VAT from 7.5% to 12% on everything else.
We did it to bring relief, we thought, in a struggling economy to middle and low-income families who needed the assistance at the time. And so to say we did that just for grits and flour and rice, and I think that's patently unfair.
However, Halkitis disagreed and even joked that when the former Minnis administration eliminated VAT on those items, he feared for the PLP's chance of re-election.
We're taking VAT off of this, taking VAT off of that, and I'm sitting there watching, and I'm like, boy, if they do that, I mean, in my mind, boy, we're in trouble.
F&M Senator Reuben Rabbing said he supports the bill, but insisted the breadbasket should be treated as a sanctuary.
If you want to tax anything in the breadbasket, take it out, tax it. But we should find a way to populate the breadbasket with those same cushions, because all of us know hard times come for anybody. Medication, we are still in a health crisis right now. The worst thing we can do is Mr. Vice President, is to increase the taxation on medications that would have been exempt.
Reporting for our News, I'm Vonique Tude.
A major milestone for labor in the country as the government signed a memorandum of understanding with the National Tripartite Council and the International Labor Organization to adopt principles of the Decent Work Country program. It's the primary mechanism through which the ILO supports efforts of the NTC to advance the decent work agenda. Prime Minister Philip Davis called it historic.
As we execute this historic memorandum of understanding today, it signifies my government's commitment to social dialogue and our steadfast desire to work with our social partners in national development. I am confident that over the next 5 years, the ILO and the Bahamian government will take extraordinary steps to maintain harmony in the industrial relations environment.
The signing comes as part of the Davis administration's policy on national and labor relations, which he says includes the Decent Work Program, a child labor policy, and legislation that speaks to an increase in minimum wage.
Enactment of legislation to establish a livable wage and a comprehensive review of the Minimum Wage Act and an increase in the national minimum wage.
When our news returns, Rev brings hope for the holidays, and golf stars hit the green at Albany. The details when our news returns.
Get that glorious internet connection back in business within seconds with the new self-help modem reset. Just follow these very easy steps. Step 1, call 601-2200 or 242-300-2200. Number 2, select option 3. Step 3, select option 2. Step 4, enter your 8-digit account number. Step 5, follow the prompts. It's really that simple. Rev, you and us together.
This is our news. Welcome back. The Cable Bahamas group of companies partnering with Bahamas Harvest Church to spread Christmas cheer to deserving families. Hope for the Holidays is designed to help children who were orphaned due to COVID-19 or during the pandemic and the new families caring for them. CBL executives will take part in a mini motorcade visiting the families, delivering Christmas trees, gifts, and a special donation to help make the season a little brighter.
They tell me we have a whole caravan of gifts that we're going to be reaching out into communities to make sure that we are having an impact and making sure that those who are in need are going to be able to get an opportunity for a little bit of cheer, a little bit of hope.
It's more than just being a corporate citizen, and we feel that it's so important in terms of the success that we have as a business that we need to make sure that the community at large also succeeds in terms of how we give back and support in any particular ways that we possibly can.
To families that might have been challenged, to children who might have lost their parents or loved ones during the pandemic, and finding ways to give gifts, give Christmas trees, give things that help them to have a happier, healthier, hopeful holiday.
The group has partnered with corporate Bahamas, including Island Pay, RF Bank and Trust, Coca-Cola, and Lowe's to help make the operation a success. On December 18th, the families will also get a special presentation during a Wonderland event hosted at Bahamas Harvest Church.
After the holidays, it is our desire over the next 12 months, this is actually a pilot project of ours, that we'll be able to provide a sustained financial assistance every month to these children.
Again, thank you, Cable Bahamas, for partnering with us in this initiative this Christmas, just to make it special for children. For me, that's my passion, children, and so anything that happens to them, to put a smile on their faces.
A quality win for Buddy Hield and the Kings. Meanwhile, a champion crowned at the Heroes Golf Challenge at Albany. Marcellus Hall has the details tonight in sports.
All right, thanks a lot, and welcome to our Sports on a Monday, everybody. I'm Marcellus Hall. Wins have been tough to come by this season for the Sacramento Kings, much less quality wins against quality opponents. We do know this, however, they seem to like playing teams from L.A., taking on the Clippers on Saturday, looking for another win. Let's see how they did. Buddy Hield and the Sacramento Kings hosting the L.A. Clippers on Saturday, looking for a big win here. And they would get what they're looking for because the Kings, how about this? They outlast the Clippers 104-99. Big win for them as they had a huge night offensively from Davis. He finished with 28. As for our guy, Buddy, he finished up with 10 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. The most important thing, as we mentioned, is the fact that they did get a win. 104-99 ends up being the final, as we said. Kings now still in the 11th spot in the Western Conference at 10-14. They are back in action this week. We'll keep you posted on that. Meanwhile, guess what? There is a champion at the Heroes Challenge. Took place right here in the province down in Albany. Victor Hovland making consecutive eagles. And he overcomes a 6-shot deficit to win the Hero World Challenge on Sunday. And that kept Colin Morikawa from reaching number 1 in the world. Hovland closed out with 6 under 66. That was his debut at a holiday event, and certainly feeling pretty good about getting the job done. On to some other stuff now from the NFL. Monday Night Football set to come your way. This should be a pretty good game. At least we're hoping so, as a matter of fact. Hoping for competitive stuff. New England Patriots will go up against the Buffalo Bills. This is a huge AFC matchup. Both of these teams are looking good and headed towards the playoff. You know they'd like to have bragging rights. That game comes your way tonight. We'll give you details on that tomorrow. And there it is, your look at sports for you here on this Monday. Results from Monday Night Football coming your way tomorrow. We invite you to be right here for that. Meanwhile, I'm Marcellus Hall. Back to you.
Thanks, Marcellus. Still ahead, Greg is back with the extended forecast. Stay with us.
Get that glorious internet connection back in business within seconds with the new self-help modem reset. Just follow these very easy steps. Step 1, call 601-2200 or 242-300-2200. Number 2, select option 3. Step 3, select option 2. Step 4, enter your 8-digit account number. Step 5, follow the prompts. It's really that simple. Rev, you and us together.
Welcome back to our news. Mostly sunny skies this week. Greg is back in the Weather Center.
Thanks again, Christina. Welcome back, everybody, for your second look at weather. Very warm day around the islands today. That high-pressure ridge remains in charge. Some high-level clouds moving out of the Gulf of Mexico across our area, filtering some sunshine, but temperatures managed to get into the 80s. Felt a little toasty. We are going to settle down into the 70s tonight, upper 60s for your low temperatures. Frontal boundary to the north, that should stay to the north as that high-pressure ridge continues to keep everything north of us. We do expect that high to slide out towards the east. Our winds are going to turn more east to southeast over the next couple of days, so we're looking at warmer temperatures for the balance of the week. Boating forecast for the northwest and central Bahamas tonight through tomorrow. Your winds will be out of the southeast at 10 to 15 knots, seas running 2 to 4 feet over the ocean. Tide is presently low, will be high at 9:25 tonight. In the southeast Bahamas, a caution flag posted for you guys down there. East to southeast winds 15 to 20 knots. Seas will be running 4 to 6 feet, so do exercise some caution if you plan on doing any boating down there tonight. Here's a look now at your national forecast. A look now at your extended forecast through Monday. That's a look at our weather. Make it a safe evening, everybody. Christina?
Thanks, Greg, and thank you for joining us for our news tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Christina Dragovich. We'll see you right back here tomorrow night. Have a beautiful evening, Bahamas.